Kind of messed up there. Strangely. Creatives, community, kind folks out there, hello. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. Again, we go down our deep and dark and, I don't know, infinite path of exploring the different characters from movies and television, specifically the characters from the Avengers. Good guys, bad guys, minor characters, mostly major characters. And of course, we have Game of Thrones characters. So we're switching back and forth each week. Might go on a couple more weeks, whatever. But just to preamble a little bit as others find the channel and log on in and get involved in the chat. Of course, there's we have Star Wars 9 coming out. That got us all a Twitter. Just getting a little glimpse, a little teaser trailer of upcoming movies. Of course, everyone is talking about the first of 6 of the last episodes of season 8 of Game of Thrones and all the meetings and the ups and downs about that as well. And of course, Endgame is coming upon us pretty soon. I've got my tickets 11 p.m. on a Saturday, so I'm an old man. I'm probably going to have to take a nap beforehand, maybe get some coffee in me, and then probably won't get out of that movie theater till 4 a.m. or something. I'm pretty sure it'll probably be a good half hour of trailers, and then you got to sit through all the credits, and it's crazy. Okay. You're so silly, Zev. Debating cereal or chocolate bar. Well, I don't know. Chocolate's pretty natural. It's got that fine chocolate that grows in nature, as well as sugar cane. Hopefully, it might have some yellow number 6 in it that grows on trees as well. I'd go with the chocolate bar. All right, who are we getting into? Today is Nick Fury. Then later this week, we're going to hit some Spider-Man as well. Somebody I know put that at the last minute in the chat, so I'm pretty sure by the time we get to the end of today's little rambly live stream, I'm sure we'll find something else about that as well. But today we talked about Nick Fury. That's what we're going to do. Yes, have that natural plastic. I don't know. It exists on Earth, and that makes it all natural. Chocolate has codeine. Dead man always coming up with the cool thing. Thank you very much, sir. I've got a ton of chocolate behind my old barrier right here. I might have to share that with you guys. All right, so Nick Fury. We got to do a little bit of background. Got to do a little bit of character building and stuff. Oh man, you guys are silly. All right, so Nick Fury is the head honcho, or used to be. Well, okay. Nick Fury is an agent, and while in the comics, Nick Fury's as any number of comic book characters have had. They've gone back and kind of like changed around and kind of retconned a few things and then retold, and then they had the Marvel Ultimate Universe. But despite all that, Nick Fury has ultimately been, from his very beginning, been an agent, a super soldier agent of sorts. The person who is the MacGuffin in the stories, really, the quest giver in comic books, to be frank, that always comes around, who knows all the secrets, and when something is about to threaten Earth, especially from a more industrial spy, assert world governments kind of thing, he's the guy that comes in and says, "Hey, everybody, I'm smoking my cigar, I've got my eye patch, but I'm not a superhero, so I'm going to need some help." And he comes around, collects everybody together, and they go on a mission. And he was basically the mortal version of the excuse of characters like the Watcher, and DC's Phantom Stranger, and some of these other individuals that come out of nowhere, spark the adventure, and they go on and attempt to save the Earth. Zevra says he was the white guy before going crazy and dying. Then his illegitimate half-black child took over and took his name. That's why we have Black Nick Fury. Yeah, well, let's be honest. Zevra says it sounds like a mad lib, but I swear that's real. Rickard said, to be honest, anyone being retooled into Samuel L. Jackson for whatever reason seems like an upgrade. Oh, it was an upgrade. Yeah. David Hasselhoff played Nick Fury in his own movie, so if anyone wants to watch that and not get back an hour and a half of their life, sure. No, but in all honesty, though, yeah, we've seen a ton of retools, upgrades, retellings, and all that kind of business. So yeah, Samuel L. brought a lot of life to that character because we saw him saw that from the movies, and so then, you know, why not? He was Mr. Cool, so yeah, go back in time, redid it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. The Hall versus Samuel Motherfucking Jackson. Mortal Kombat. Oh, you didn't know that, Zev? Yeah. Hasselhoff, the Hoffman. Oh, wow. Yeah, dude. Yeah, you got to look at. It's got to be on YouTube somewhere, just hanging around, man. It's beautifully awful. It's beautifully awful. Okay, so Nick Fury is the man that is behind the scenes, right? He's the individual who is constantly trying to save the Earth using Shield and all of its equipment and connections and all that kind of stuff. Now, yes, we know in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Shield was infiltrated by Hydra, but again, we get to see Samuel L. Jackson use his vast knowledge and recruiting skills to manipulate the situation into his own favor so that, of course, he doesn't die. Now, yes, he's a normal human being. If you have not seen the Captain Marvel movie, then you will find out how he got, has the one eye, which I don't know. It's an eye roll. It's whatever it is. But he's always been known as a Mr. Cool and always seemed to be one step ahead of everyone, having the excellent ability to pretend to be one step ahead of everyone else. All right, so what can we pull from Nick Fury and, hell, Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury? The first thing to me that really jumps out is the fact that he makes a perfect NPC. He makes a perfect quest giver. He makes the perfect contact, mentor, foil, individual. Deadman says MTV did a claymation battle with Hasselhoff versus Jackson. Oh wow, that must have been vulgar. Everyone says I must have blocked it from my memory. Good for you, because it's a wound, that I'll never get back, man. I just wow. Yeah, Nick Fury type characters. Zev says Nick Fury type characters I feel are a common NPC we meet in D&D. The Spymaster or head of the military, an ally, a strategist, teacher, etc. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like no one likes the Deus Ex Machina, right? No one likes the what is it? The thing that comes in, whether it's a person or a situation that comes in that somehow magically snaps his fingers and resets everything, right? But Nick Fury and the characters like it, like you're mentioning, Zev, in Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games, whatever the case may be, is so consistently, it's a consistent part of the character's makeup that when they show up in the middle of something or in the beginning of a world building, world devastating crisis, or when they show up at the end to clean up the damage that's done by the player characters, it kind of makes sense, right? In a here I am showing up the last minute. It's in many ways it's like John Wick calling in for a cleaning crew. It's the here's this guy that shows up just when when it's needed. Okay. And how often do we have adventure ideas in our heads as world creators, as story and adventure DMs, GMs, storytellers, flame tenders, right? And we're like, man, I would really love to do this adventure, but it's underwater, and none of my player characters have, sufficiently reliable and extended water breathing ability or some way to get to the bottom of the ocean. Oh, I know. I'll have my air quotes Nick Fury character show up and go, there is a danger brewing at the bottom of the ocean. I don't have many details, players, but I do know, and then fills in some details, throws them a map, gives them maybe an NPC or two as a connection, maybe throws them a little bit of a broken up artifact and says, all right, pats them on the rear end and goes, go ahead, guys, you solve the problem. I've got the rest of the world to handle, right? So Nick Fury absolutely positively represents like the quest giver, the comes in battered, streaking in a hover car or something, steps through a portal half on fire and stumbles in front of the player characters, sits in a chair in the dark when the player character comes home from a long adventure with Nick Fury's legs crossed and smoking a cigar and drinking some brandy, right? It's like, I've been waiting for you. And it's like, dude, how'd you get into my wizard's keep that's protected by 18 spells that I renew every day and whatnot? And it's like, if I told you that, I'd have to kill you. That kind of thing, right? As everyone says, how do you know what we did? We weren't even on the prime material plane. You think you only have spies on this plane? I don't have any details, but it gives details. Isn't that always the case? Oh, Zev. Oh, I love it, man. There's like, I don't have any details, but and it gives details. And that's true, right? The old classic characters in the tavern, and the old man stumbles in half dead, stumbling in front of the character's table and drops a map, and it goes, the evil from thousands of years ago has awakened, and gets ready to pass out. And what happens? The PCs are like, well, where'd you come from? What's it look like? Well, what do these arcane markings mean? And then the old man has to stick around long enough for you as the game master. You're rolling your eyes like, oh my God. Okay. The old markings date back from the 18th century, just before the king, and just go on a quest. And all the players are still asking questions. He's like, let me die, and give him mouth to mouth. We need to find out who the bad guy is. Is it a lich or a dragon? I mean, it's not being real clear. Oh man. Yeah. Hey Vince, what's going on? What have I done so far? With or without Kit? Yeah. Now we're talking about Nick Fury, and kind of making fun of the Hasselhoff versus a Samuel L. Jackson idea. Yes, Vince. I'm sure the Hoffman was played Nick Fury, in a movie. So that's all. We're just making fun. We're having fun rather. So Nick Fury definitely is absolutely is a great NPC to add to the world. Powerful and effective enough not to worry about too many mundane things in the world, but not so powerful that it's like all the PCs are scratching their head like, what? You're Nick Fury. You're in a floating fortress who's got spies set around the world. Couldn't you just solve the issue yourself? And then of course, as a dungeon master, we have to come up with so many ideas. So why not? Why that doesn't work? Like, well, I can't be involved, or no one in my organization can be seen, or hey, you guys are the superheroes. You guys, kicked the ass of cosmic beings. I'm just a regular guy, right? Vince says a rule one to play Nick Fury: stay away from cats. Hell yeah. As everyone says, Kit automatically wins. He's too strong. Oh my God, I was addicted to Kit. Yeah, that the central eye part of that card. I think it was like a Firebird or something. Tabaxi are his greatest weakness. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, Ricker says all we know, Kit was the star of that show, not Hoff. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. Yeah, Kit was like one of the later cars that became an iconic car in the iconic car registry of the world, right? Probably I put him in the top 5, if not top 10 iconic cars in movie history, I suppose. Methinks Vince watched every episode, which, oh man, I love Knight Rider. I love that show, Knight Rider. Anyway, we digress slightly. We got digress slightly because we can always turn this to our stories, right? Who's to say that our Nick Fury NPC doesn't have themselves a kit or a cat named Kit or something, right? You have to have something iconic and something cool. It's a fine line to oh, Vince bringing back the memories, dude. Oh man. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Anyway, yeah, Vince, you make a point. All right, so I'll go back to you, Zev, in a minute. Vince says, Nick Fury has his sweet car in Winter Soldier that had an AI and everything. That's true. Wow. You make a point. You make a point about that. I like that. Which side note, what a great, the way that scene played out, how awesome was that filmed? The tension in that with those, of course, the Hydra agent, police officers trying to kill Nick Fury down in the city streets and stuff. It was beautifully chaotic in the manner in which it happened, right? I really appreciated it. Although, it still used the nerd rule, no one ever really dies rule, where, oh, Nick Fury's dead. Oh, well, he's not. Oh, he could have self, whatever. Yeah, that's funny. But Zevron actually says, I find it funny how masked superheroes will try to arrest enemies if given a choice. Nick Fury will kill them if given a choice. Well, yeah. Vince says, yeah, the scene was awesome. The car was powerful, but they came prepared for it. And I think when it comes to the Nick Fury style character, at least let's flow a little bit more for the comic books than the movies, because in the movies there is a prison that floats on the ocean or something like that. Superheroes have always had the problem of let's beat up the bad guy, let's take them into the authorities, and then there's this big super giant like question mark at the end of it as the regular human citizen is scratching their head like, what are we supposed to do? So comic books have then solved that issue by always having some remote, high tech tucked away into another, into a volcano, bottom of the ocean, floating on the ocean, floating in the sky, on another planet, in another pocket dimension prison where the villains go. They stay there for a while. Some writer has a great idea about wanting to bring back Absorbing Man or the Wrecking Crew or some other crap, right? And they want to bring them back. So it's a way to not kill the villains off and still have them in the back burner to resuscitate them, bring some more life into the characters, make them a little bit more cool if they've been sitting back in their little two 60s or 70s or a little two 80s, right? The Raft, that's it. Deadman says there were 4 super secret prisons in the Marvel Universe. The Raft was just one of them. Yeah, so and that was, of course, comic books. Let's understand that comic books always go through generations, right? Each Spider-Man will never get older. For the most part, most superheroes do not pass the torch on to the next generation until they're ready to, the writers are ready to do so. So you have to reinvigorate the series every couple of years. I preferred it when it was a 10-year run, but now it's pretty much like 2 to 5 years. And so, yeah, you got to have the villains in the back burner to bring them back. So, but with Nick Fury's always the mysterious, like, yeah, well, you guys solve the situation, and then it's like, if it warrants killing the stupid ass bad guy off, boom, bullet in the back of the head, right? But if it's like, well, we like this character enough that we want to save them around, the Nick Fury character always comes up with an excuse, like, the epilogue, where instead of the person being, stripped of their powers, it's like, we're going to study your armor, we're going to study your mutation. Aren't you from an alien race? When are they coming? And then they leave it off with a ... and then Stan Lee says Excelsior, and everyone's like, oh, he's still alive. Wonder if he's going to come back. Right. Yeah. Oh man. Going back in the chat. Zev says Nick says in one comic to Captain America he doesn't have Cap's muscles or bulletproof shield, so he needs to be decisive. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's the I need to solve the situation differently than you can. And like Ricker says to me, like you say that, DBJ, but how hard is it really to escape from Arkham? Listen, the speed at which you can escape from Arkham moves at the speed of plot and narration, right? I mean, hell, they like have they ever hired an effective guy to like repair the doors? It feels like when they're fixing the locks on one side of Arkham, there's always somebody sneaking out the back end or something. And do they even do background checks for the people that work in Arkham? I mean, half the people that work there are crazy themselves. It's wild, dude. Yeah, but it's a thing, right? It's a thing. Oh man, Vince says, I once had a boss character in a silly action sci-fi RPG that was really just called Boss. He served as my Deus Ex Machina from time to time. I let him style a bit and then become busy again. The role-playing game Shadowrun has, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, specifically created as the titular, like, I'm hiring you for a mission. Just call me Johnson. I'm going to give you money. I'm going to give you vague details about what's going on. It's going to turn bad. Maybe you might try to turn against me, but you really don't want to because I have some blackmail on you. They go and pat you on the rear end. You send the people out to go shoot stuff and kill things and be, cyborg agents. And at the very end of it, they come back and either try to get their money or they're double crossed. But essentially, the Johnson, the Mr. and Mrs. Vague gender role of the Johnson in Shadowrun is exactly what we're talking about, right? Yeah. So that says, hell, Arkham has signs warning people about hitchhikers being escaped inmates. Yeah. And Vince says Arkham has a backdoor exit with a snack bar open all times. Like, oh, where you going, Joker? I've got your favorite meal right here. And he's just like, stops and gets his coffee and a pastry. See you later. All right. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I'll probably be back. Oh man. Ricker says, I think we common folks still go, what the fuck, heroes? Why don't you solve the problem? Just give us a 5-minute response. That. Yeah, I know a lot of superheroes are just like, yeah. It's like, thanks for dropping off, I don't know, the Abomination or something on our doorstep and then walking away as if a bad guy villain just knocked out, in one punch is going to solve the situation. But yeah. Yeah. Oh man. But so Ricker says, I have some blackmail on you. Equals, I have your blood and I work for Aztec. Yeah, exactly. That's for Shadowrun. Yeah, it's a thing. It's hard to balance an NPC like that as well. And I don't mean just numerically, because for the most part, really, do we really want to know the stats of an NPC like that? No, because once you stat it, they will kill it, right? Your PCs will always want to know, how powerful, air quotes, is Nick Fury? How prepared is he to stop everyone else? Is he Batman level? I always have something in my back pocket to stop everyone. Yeah, it's so the hard part about balancing, and I don't mean, like I said, I don't mean numerically, but the balance comes in, like, you want to make this person super effective. Hey, I'm coming around and I need your help. But at the same time, you want to make them ineffective enough that they don't override the story. So, Nick Fury sometimes as a superhero character fits because he's not superheroic. He doesn't fly, he doesn't go through time. He's got the knowledge, but he doesn't have the physical ability to do it or harness enough people and enough technology to do it. And so, like in a role-playing game, you could make this person medieval style. You could make them like an oracle or a sage or like an Indiana Jones, where they're constantly uncovering things, but they don't have the wherewithal to solve the problems that are happening. That probably would work too for more medieval. And in a modern day sense, the Nick Fury character, again, is just immortal. Maybe they don't have cybernetics or psionics, or they don't have, going eclipse phase. They don't have, unique, battle morphs or synthetic morphs that his mind is in, or something like that. Vince goes on to say, I think the Nick Fury character is sometimes needed to form the group in the first place. He forces them forces them together and shows them why they should work together, but it should really come more naturally. And you know what? Vince goes on to say, sadly, you don't always have the luxury of players who build compatible characters. And, I first of all, I definitely agree with you. And it is strong arming a bit. It's the typical railroading the situation to get the players to where they need to be. But sometimes you don't want to overuse it, right? But it is a tool in your back pocket. So the typical starting the adventure off let me give you a perfect example. Starting the adventure off of, okay, all of you are on a sailing ship in a storm heading to the forgotten island that only appears once every 1,000 generations, right? That's basically putting your players right at the front door of the adventure without doing the BS. Do you know each other? You guys shouldn't be together, blah, blah, blah. Nick Fury type character, NPC, is I've gathered all of you together to do this thing. Here's just enough of what you need to get to where you need to go, to another plane of existence, to another dimension, to another island, to deep down in the subterranean, to the bottom of the ocean, to the mountain area, into the evil kingdom of so-and-so, right? It's like, here's what you need. Here you go. I put you at the front door. Here. I'm going to even stick the key into the front door. I unlocked it. I got to go see it. Bye. You know what I mean? Oh, you guys are going too fast in the chat. All right. So Zevron says, Nick Fury can have an armory of magic items that he calls alien weaponry, implying a world far greater and wider out there. And doing high-level missions for him may result in getting some tech. I agree with that. That's another reward system, just like in Shadowrun with the Johnson and other games. Like the quest giver might be the magic item giver at the end of it. So instead of let's kick down the door of the dragon or the lich or whatever, the demon or something, and killing them and taking their stuff, maybe the air quote stuff you get, the reward you get, is at the end of the adventure. The cybernetic upgrades, the armorer that is going to etch yet one more sigil into your black blade or something, the assassin character that comes back and is given access to a couple of vials of the most dangerous poisons and hypnotic alchemical compounds or something, right? The wizard who's finally given access to the hidden book of ancient lore that this Nick Fury character just so happens to come across and give them access to. So they can also be the person that another motivating reason might be, hey guys, I need you to go on a suicide mission because at the end of it, you're going to get something that I need to give you something that you need, right? Oh man, you guys talk to each other. Rickard says, I always solve that problem by telling the players to, quote, make a character that wants X more than anything else. Yeah, that's another issue with people who make characters that basically would never adventure together. It's like you're starting off, you've bypassed session 0, got to session 1, and you're already like throwing a hand grenade into the group. It's kind of ridiculous, I think. It's like, make a character that wants to go on an adventure, and since we're all collaborating together, how about make a character that wants to be involved with all of this stuff? Even I don't believe that people should make characters that can't have conflict, but the mission, whatever the adventure is, the mission, the going into the unknown, the protecting the city, doesn't matter what it is, they should want to have a greater motivation to want to stick together. It's the classic, I want to play a paladin. I want to play an evil assassin. We're going to be in conflict. No, look, just go, hey, can we be related like brother and sister? Can we come from the same village and we or what have you? Maybe we had the same inciting historical thing that happened in our characters' lives. The goblinoid army killed our family, and I went one direction, you went another direction, so we actually are loyal to each other. Yeah, easy fix, done. Right? Vince Vince says, yeah, but that is how they solved creating Avengers in MCU. Just let Nick Fury show up and let them join the Avengers Initiative. It is a fast and easy solution. By the way, I started to convert my deck building RPG to D&D 5e. Oh, really? Ooh, I'm gonna have to take a look at that. So everyone says, wasn't Mr. Johnson a dragon? Oh my God, imagine Nick Fury as a dragon and polymorph under the command of the local Liege Lord. What dragon would fit Nick Fury best? Green? Black dragon, maybe? And they're pretty, black dragons, I mean, they're not the top tier, but I think they're pretty insidious. I think metallic dragon wise, there's one that has a lot of machinations. I don't know if I'm not as familiar with the personalities of some of the dragons, but that would be kind of cool. Vincent, can I send you some stuff? You write? Yeah, of course. Of course. Absolutely. Rickard. Oh man. Abort, never deal with a dragon. Nope. Yep. And why do you think they polymorph themselves? Because everyone knows they don't deal with the dragon. Yeah, but Vince, of course, explains that Mr. Johnson is a generic name for the guy that hires Shadowrunners. He can be a dragon, but usually isn't. Yeah, it is in Shadowrun, Mr. Johnson is the title taken by any number of individuals who are basically fixers. They're the I have a mission, I need agents to go on this mission, and that's basically, it's the excuse, right? It's the how do we get together and go on a mission? Mr. Johnson shows up, contacts everyone, leaves things at drop points, things like that. But we went past the half point mark, so we need to figure out how to make up the Nick Fury character as an NPC and an enemy. Like what kind of things can we create for this character as a PC? And I think the first way to make a Nick Fury character as a player character, I'm thinking that this is the kind of character, whether you're thinking of an alchemist or a tinkerer or a gadgeteer or something. Zevron says Battlemaster fighter. Yeah, this is a person who kind of wants to sit in the background a little bit and give orders or instructions. We kind of did this with like Tyrion, and when we talked about Game of Thrones, Tyrion and Cersei. But or Vince says, wouldn't he just be a super spy? Absolutely. Yeah, I believe he would be like a super spy, a person who doesn't need to fight straight on, but fighter rogue, absolutely. I believe Xanathar's Guide, maybe a mastermind subclass, or what's the other one? Mastermind, and I'm going to say investigator, but that's not the correct term. If everyone says Nick is also a soldier, which, I mean, let's be honest, the rogue, the non-fighter characters are pretty physically adept, right? But inquisitive, that's it. Yeah, thanks, Zev. Yeah, the inquisitive, which I think is kind of strange. I'm not sure why they didn't pick investigator or detective, or use some kind of wording combination for the person who uncovers hidden secrets or something like that. Secret uncoverer, I don't know. Rickard says, PC Warlock, his patron has given him the information that needs to be solved. Could be cleric, but he feels more dark. Or, you could still go, you don't necessarily need to have something so insidious, but maybe I know we love to go down the Warlock path, but maybe there's a patron that's more of a sage, right? It's a hidden figure. Maybe, a hidden figure who happens to have little details about things going on in the world and sends the PC on these missions to uncover more knowledge. Basically, it's like it's the Indiana Jones of the world, meaning the Nick Fury character, who is collecting knowledge about the rest of the world. And it doesn't necessarily have to be yeah, Vince, he sacrificed his eye for his patron. I like that. I like that a lot. I gotta agree with Rickard there. I mean, who's to say that the eye he sacrificed isn't the eye that the patron watches the character through, right? The eye is still working. It's just that he gets to see the player character from everywhere they go and everything that they do, and then he shows up in the player character's bedroom or something. Is like, I have another mission for you, and it's like, yes, where do I need to go? And it's like, it's very important for you to collect the book of hidden knowledge. It cannot fall into the wrong hands. You must work with them. And he's like, but my other party members won't trust me. Like, that is insignificant in the grander scope of things, right? You know what I mean? Like the kind of half working against the player characters, half working for them kind of thing, where they're not necessarily backstabbing the players, but it's like this goes in a museum kind of thing, maybe, or what have you. And Bard seems kind of cool because you get a little bit of everything, a little magic, couple of skills, maybe that could work as well. So everyone says cleric of knowledge domain. Okay, obtains visions from his god or goddess of upcoming perilous evils and gathers heroes to stop those secret events. I love that. And dude, if a player character comes to the table and says, "Hey, my divinity is about stopping these ancient evils or whatever," how much pressure does that take off of your back? Like, oh, mission number 6, I don't have anything available. Okay, the goddess shows up, or god or goddess shows up and says, I have another, secret thing for you to uncover. Please go to this place. It's the monster of the week kind of idea. What a great an easy fix to a problem that doesn't need to exist in the role-playing universe in the first place, of why people are together, why they're going on adventures, why they're putting themselves in danger. Yeah. Vince says maybe he needs to uncover his eye to use his warlock powers. I like that too. Maybe no one ever sees what his eye really looks like. Just their power comes out of it, something happens, and they're like, what's in your eye patch? You're like, wouldn't you like to know? You know what I mean? And of course, like 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons doesn't have limitations. So having an eye patch, having one eye doesn't mean anything. It's just an affectation, right? But a sweet one too. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, you guys are Vince says he would be lawful neutral for sure. I could very much see that. Very much there are far more things important than you and I kind of ideal, right? Yeah, man. Yeah, Vince says, sadly, there's no pure leader character in D&D 5e. No, some slot into that area pretty well. The Paladin Oaths type characters kind of slot in there. Bards reskinned as more of a military giving instructions to others fits in there kind of pretty good as and clerics, I think, fit in from just talking off the top of my head. I think druids maybe in a far more wild environment also. Yeah, I could see that. Rickard says, quote, "Hello, DM. I want to be a walking plot hook, please." DM says, "Why, thank you very much." You get a free slice of pizza. Yeah, hell yeah. I love it. So everyone says a thing with Nick Fury is while he tasks heroes to stop criminals, he also obtains secret knowledge as a bonus, like how in Winter Soldier he covers up recovering secret shield data as a hostage situation. Right. The closest we have to a leader character is the Purple Dragon Night Fighter from the Skag. And it's not great. That and Oath of Crown or Mastermind. Yeah, okay. Mastermind's a good one as well. But again, it's a collaborative situation. So while Nick Fury is, as we've seen in the MCU, in the movies, like he's the quest giver, he's not necessarily the leader. I mean, how many times has he screamed at Iron Man about what we need to do, and then Nick Fury screams back at those panel of from the first Avengers movie? Remember there was that secret panel. Oh well, no, it was Winter Soldier too. Anyway, okay, when he's screaming at the people that are telling him what to do, and then Nick Fury does his own thing, and then he tells the heroes, and then the heroes do their own thing. So is there a direct correlation between him being necessarily the leader? You could play that down quite a bit and still get away with it. And who's to say that council that tells him what to do couldn't be a cleric domain of a number of individuals, or instead of one warlock patron, it's like a triumvirate or a group of other individuals that know these secrets, and each individual that knows a secret maybe is reskinned like a form of their powers or abilities. Like, oh, I have magic from one of them, I have gadgets from another, tinkering gadgets, I have my spy skills from another, and then I have my warrior skills from yet a fifth one or sixth. You know what I mean? You could do that kind of thing as well. Vince says, to be honest, it's super hard to make the here is what you need to do NPC right. I hate being that obvious usually. Like I said, it's a tool in the back pocket. You don't want to, if you use it too often, you get the eye rolls and everyone's like, oh, here we go. You know what I mean? And it is kind of dry. But I think if you create the character with a little bit of a backstory, maybe the other players can start to get a handle on it. Like in the beginning, maybe the first interaction is, I've got a mission, you're going to do this thing or else, right? Then the player characters are all frustrated, they finish it, and maybe at the end of it, because Nick Fury, like you said, Zev, Nick Fury is always gaining a little bit of secret knowledge. Maybe when they see Nick Fury again, he reveals to the players, oh, by the way, I know you defeated the dragon, but I was really looking for this ancient knowledge about this ancient ritual because I know there's a evil lich that is on the horizon, and I've uncovered more information from that. And maybe he shows that he's a little bit panicked about it or worried. So, instead of making him a one-dimensional quest giver walks away, maybe the player characters find out, like maybe one of the players is injured and he brings his healing entourage and then stays by the player's side and starts talking to them while the player is unconscious. But of course the player is awake, and Nick Fury starts talking about his past, i.e. a little bit more character development, going on. You could do that kind of thing as well. So that even if Nick Fury is the player character who thinks he knows it all, maybe that player can give not tender moments, not so blatantly, but just something like, yeah, I know you think I'm working against you, but really I'm working to protect the world, right? In their own way. Zevron says, like, he's going to stop the guy in a flying power armor suit that can bench press the helicarrier and split apart a skyscraper with a hand beam, right? Yeah, he's not going to do that. He's going to say, hey, guys, I need some help. Shit. Vince says, maybe he simply is a super intelligent guy who gives the PCs the weak points of the enemy or important points to be used instead of them rolling their stats and maybe failing. Absolutely. Maybe he's the person that says, oh, guess what, guys? Trolls are vulnerable to fire. Or guess what? New players to Dungeons and Dragons, don't fight the Lich directly. If you find the Lich's phylactery, maybe you can then destroy that, right? That's why not? Or the Tarask is loose and is destroying the world, but there's a way to lead it into the far realms if you just capture this certain gemstone or plant matter or get its eggs or something, right? I mean, he could be the clue stick, and when you have to smack the players over the back of the head, like, listen, guys, here's a clue. Zev says, the idea I had was the players are tasked with rescuing a local princess, and they learn she's a changeling under his employ as a spy. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Vince says, but he needs time and has to be protected. Yeah. I mean, who's to say that the Nick Fury character? Again, we've got to worry about the Mary Sue-ism of Nick Fury, because if Nick Fury is in danger, or you put the Nick Fury character in danger, if the players do nothing, or worse yet, they screw up, and you still have to have the Nick Fury character pull his fat out of the fryer, it kind of becomes a little like, oh, of course he's going to survive, right? You kind of have to worry about doing that. So like Vince has been saying, like it is kind of a simple, very blunt instrument. So if Nick Fury survives being killed too often, then the panic starts to lose its importance, right? The player's like, well, he's the NPC quest giver. We don't have to worry about him. Even if it's unconscious. even the players think of it as being unconscious. Rickard says Nick Fury as an enemy, sending the heroes to solve evil plagues across the world, and comes in to gather up the secret information in between the missions. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Nick Fury is honestly kind of a Batman. You give him the time to prep, and he'll make it out. Absolutely. So Rickard says, is talking about making Nick Fury the bad guy, and I think making him. He absolutely, I believe, would not be the mustache twirling, hand wringing, laughing, devilishly as the player characters stumble along their world. But I absolutely feel like he would be a character who's always coming behind the PCs, gathering the information, gathering the ritual on how to become a lich, gathering the information to wake up the sleeping dragons, gathering the information for the ritual to summon an evil fiend from another world, or awaken a long lost evil, or summon something from the outer reaches of the nether realms, or whatever have you. And he could be the Spymaster for a number of evil nations. So when the player characters are like, I'm 12th level, player character, most normal people can't fight me. Maybe Nick Fury is the one that's going around protecting all the not protecting, but trading in information for some of these dictatorships and totalitarian regimes in and around your setting, especially medieval settings, right? When a player character is like, well, I'm just going to teleport into the king's bedchambers and kill him, and you find out that the place is protected by anti-magic shell, the players might be like, that's stupid. Why would he have an anti-magic shell? He's not magic. And maybe this Nick Fury type adversary is the one arming all of the big baddies with what they need to live and survive longer. It could be that kind of thing. Deadman says that's why you have a mook working for Fury, such as Coulson, who died in the first Avengers. Yeah, of course, Nick Fury is surrounded by, what is it, Anita Hill, whatever, Hill, Coulson. There's a couple of other individuals that he surrounds himself with, some other agents and things. Black Widow would be considered. Black Widow and Hawkeye are kind of Maria Hill. Thank you very much, Deadman. Yes, Maria Hill, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Coulson are probably the four that he surrounded himself with, because that's how they were introduced into the story. So, if the Hawkeye, Black Widow characters are not player characters, they could be the NPCs that can kind of come in if another player character gets killed. It's the I can't be part of the game. Okay, well, we'll just use your character in the sideline, i.e. Hawkeye getting mind controlled, right? Most of the first Avengers movie, or Black Widow, who is kind of the Nick Fury character that ties a number of the movies together. Although she's not the quest giver, she's another character that acts as Nick Fury told me this thing, or gave me this thing, or gave me this code or map, or told me to meet this agent. I need some protection, guys, can you come with me? Right? So Nick Fury being surrounded, or this type of NPC being surrounded by others, also makes sense too, and especially if they get capped off, right? I mean, one or more in a role-playing game, one or more are definitely going to have to die. And what a great way to go, oh, well, he's got other agents around him. And you can introduce that agent when Nick Fury meets with the players at a tavern or a space station or dark alley or something, like, who's the big guy behind you? Oh, him? I just call him Brick. And just leave it at that. And then maybe the second time or third time they meet him, you find out Brick loves to play video games and does embroidery or something. You know what I mean? As everyone says, hell, I like the idea of a group like the Demir. Shout out to Ravnica. Shout out, yeah. Implanting false memories into Fury and making him think you're about to betray the nation, so he becomes an antagonist while good. Ooh, yeah, I could see playing with that. Making Nick Fury comes across maybe as an antagonist, but there's maybe some of his other minor agents are trying to convince the player characters, like, no, you can't kill him. He's undercover on purpose, so his memory's been supplanted, so he comes across as the bad guy, but really what he's he's acting as the bad guy because that's what he's thinking, but really he's gathering information about all of the other baddies. And then when the player characters come, they actually have to capture him, save him, reimplant his old memories or something like that. Yeah. Dead man. Yeah. So it's official. Last 10 minutes. He has some of the best ideas coming up. I hear you, Dead man. Yeah, you're so right, dude. You're so right. So anyway, yeah, it's the last 10 minutes. Making him as the bad guy, of course, is a great idea, just in terms of maybe having a through line when you have a very disparate gaming world. So as everyone says, get out your gold material. Yeah, why do we save it to the end? It's crazy. But let's say you have a galactic empire, or you have an island. You have like a giant archipelago of thousands of island nations, or you have plane jumping, interdimensional jumping characters. This Nick Fury character, for good or bad, or extremely neutral, might be the thread that ties all of those worlds together, all of those countries, those individuals, where someone has heard of this individual, or they are, I mean, if he's not hiding, but maybe he's downgraded a little bit to being a merchant, or has a bodyguard service, or a like Dune in the Frank Herbert's Dune. Maybe he runs the guilds that run starships through wormholes, and so he's the individual that gets people from one place to another, so always has a reason to interact with people, other cultures, other people, governments, black market, that kind of thing, and always has a reason to somehow be in the background. And so you can even forget this character and go, man, I need another motivation. Oh, that's right, he's a pirate. He needs the help of the characters, so his pirate ship's going to show up. That kind of thing. As everyone says, it's raining, so I won't be able to type. See you. Hey, man, Zev, have a good one, man. Yeah, we've got, dude, you dumped enough gold in here as needed. You're perfectly fine. And I'm going to get out of here pretty soon as well. Rickard says, we already had Nick Fury in a Galactic Republic setting. It didn't turn out too well. Well, didn't we? So yes, this Nick Fury character could be one of a number of agents, whether like the Galactic Republic, where they control the trade, or at least control the ships that have the trade. I was going to say Trade Federation because that's the first thing that came to mind. Through alliteration, but yeah, this individual may be completely neutral to the point of knowing bad things are going to happen in the world, having a soft spot for the heroes, the protagonists of the group, and it's like, listen, I'm not sticking around, but I know something terrible is going to happen here. They're getting, Fury is the title of Spymaster, like Zev says. Yeah, could be the ultimate Spymaster. I found out this information. I'm handing off to you guys. I know you guys. I trust you guys. I don't know how smart it is for you guys to actually have a moral code, but I'm giving it to you anyway. Me, I'm out. And oh, by the way, here's my card. If you need to escape, I'll be here. I'll be orbiting the 8th planet for 3 weeks. If you can get this done, call me and I'll get you out of here. Otherwise, I'm out. And so maybe Nick Fury could be the tension generator. You only have a certain amount of time, or you can't let so-and-so know you're here, or I'm giving you the information, don't get me involved, right? I at the end of this, I can upgrade your power armor, but let it be known, don't bring up my name, that kind of thing. Rickard says, you could also turn it around. Nick Fury seems like a character that could easily be labeled rogue agent, so the players might need to hunt him down. Ooh, I like that. You would have to ride a razor's edge, but maybe he's always a step ahead of the player characters. What's the movie? The movie series. Now You See Me and Now You See Me Too, where they are master magicians, and there is we want to find the greatest magic trick magician of all time, and this individual is leading them down a path. So maybe, yeah, he is a rogue character who's been running, but is kind of leading the characters down a path to find him. And maybe the ultimate goal of finding this Nick Fury character creates the lessons that were necessary for them to find him. And then when they reach their ultimate goal, they take over his position, right? Like, it's like, I've been on the run. They're like, you've been running away from us. We finally captured you. And he looks at all of them kind of like the Wizard of Oz, right? Like, he captures all of them. It's like, well, you've always had a heart. You've always had a brain. I'm being silly, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? It's like, yeah, I wanted you guys to follow me because I can't run forever. And someone needs to know what's going on. And I've been dropping clues. And oh, by the way, here's my closet. It's filled with all the skeletons of everybody else that's evil in the world. You guys handle it, because I'm going to retire on a on an island nation or something, right? Zevron says Hattori Hanzo is the most notorious ninja in Japan and was the title of over a dozen ninja. Oh, that's right. Right. The pinnacle mysterious person you have to hunt down and find, and they elude capture only to find out that they're eluding capture to train you or lead you down a path that will have you uncover other things. It's the player characters. I'm just making this up off the top of my head. It's the player characters who break into the notorious CEO that's been polluting the environment and stealing money and selling weapons to terrorists. The players uncover it and they stop the great evil, and then they get one of like a text message or phone call or a hidden message somewhere, and this Nick Fury character is like, I know you were hunting me, but I'm glad to see that you uncovered this one thing, blah blah blah, like kind of like saying like, thanks for stopping this other evil person, but I still got to stay on the run, and maybe we'll be in touch, kind of like a nod to, yeah, you guys did pretty good. You got close. Television shows do that all the time. We finally got there, and season ending, and you got to wait till next season for them to really capture the real bad guy, right? How many times have we seen a television series resuscitated using that trope? Rickard says you could start out with a few missions where he is the handler for the players before he is labeled a rogue. Ooh, I like that. Guilty by proxy. You could do that. Maybe he's been a handler, like you said, he's been a handler for a while, Rickard, and then eventually, like, hey, Darius, what's up? Long time no hear, man. What's going on there, dude? But yeah, he could be a handler, and then you could tell a couple of stories. Like Shield in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Shield was shut down by Hydra and they went on the run. So Captain America, between the dismantling of Shield and not signing the Sokovia Accords, Captain America went on the run, became that nomad character that temporarily in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So another great story thing you can just insert and go, oh man, how cool would it be for the players to be on the run? i.e., the Nick Fury character. So everyone says maybe the players can attain the rank Fury if they reach his level. Yeah, maybe the kind of like the James Bond 007 thing. The name isn't his name; it's a title, and the players find out that title. There's a novel series that I read one time called Santiago, and it was a far future / Western going after a notorious gunman known as Santiago, who was taking down governments, and the main character in the story tries to find Santiago, and through the story uncovers what Santiago's been doing this entire time, and Santiago gets killed pretty easily and rather unceremoniously. And so the main character in the story uses a blade and cuts an S in the back of his hand, which was the known mark of Santiago. And he takes on the title of the character Santiago, and you find out it's been passed on from generation to generation simply due to someone else picking up the moniker, right? It wasn't even passed on. It was more like, shit, this dude's dead, but somebody's really got to do something about it. And that title sends fear into the hearts of the enemy, kind of thing, like Batman, Um, Carmen Sandiego is this brilliant setup for the episodic campaign. Yeah, we were talking about, well, yes, and we were talking about Nick Fury. We're coming to the end, but we were talking about making Nick Fury. What can we steal from Nick Fury to use as a motivating factor for our games? Like whether he's an NPC, which he makes a great one, whether he makes a player character. We talked about that, and making him an enemy as well. Ricker says, or combining everything. He's the handler, rogue, and now the antagonist. He's still good, and then he is still good, and the players search for him, and they solve all evil because he leads them to it. The organization is actually evil. Yeah, I like that. Complicated and convoluted, but I love it. So hold on, guys. I got to say goodbye. Babe, love you. When you get off, yeah. Call me. Okay. Call me in the car. I'll be in the car. Okay. Stay on the computer. I need to look something up. Okay. All right. Love you. Bye. All right, guys. So we've hit the hour mark. Always got to say, you guys know when I hit the hour mark because I say goodbye to my wife who's off to work. So yeah, Darius, good to hear from you, man. Good to hear you. Yeah, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Like, yeah, that's basically a Nick Fury type. Like, I need to gather you guys together. But of course, we've got a lot of gold. We always hit in our last 10, 15 minutes of these chats. Spider-Man will come up. I'm going to open up I'm going to get into the habit of when I end these chats to open up the other ones. I don't really often ask for people to like, share, subscribe, or whatever. But if you're into, if you like long form talking and just generalize, like, yeah, just hanging around the table before the game starts. That's what we do. We share our digital pizza. So, well, goodbye to you, sir, kind sir, Mr. Darius. We should get back into doing the Creators Conclave at some point or something, if you have time. So, but anyway, we'll talk about that as well. So, guys, have a great one. I've been writing for those who. There's been a lot of interest for people looking for the Swamps and Jungles book. Tentatively, it's called The Wetlands because we're combining swamps, jungles, mangroves, rainforests, all of that's going to be combined together. Subterranean is coming along. That may not be the actual name. Unfortunately, we can't use Underdark. Underdark is a trademarked title, so can't use Underdark. But that book will be coming soon, and we are retroactively changing over our cinematic environments, which was. Rickard says, so talking about books, which cinematic environments are you the most proud of? Oh, wow. Damn. That's a question. Okay. I'll have to say, I've got to say the survival book, which doesn't take the same format as the other books. Although, really, the first one? Because the first one is the first one I came up with. The first one is the thinnest. As time has gone on, they've gotten... I've gone down the rabbit hole, not knowing whether people would even bother to want to be interested in them. So I think my first book, the Arctic Reach, is probably sorry, I know my head's kind of tilted away, so I apologize for doing that. In order. Okay, so Arctic Lands is the first book, kind of thin. And then the second one was the second book that I wrote was the Desert Waste. When I say it's us, myself, Alex, and Rob. Alex is an excellent writer. He does the layout for the books. And let's see, Mountains came along. And as we've gone along for each of these books, this one's kind of funny. This is the Aquatic Depths. And Aquatic Depths is not just underwater. It's basically anything related to water. So it's like sailing and dead seas and waterfalls and frozen lakes, tropical realms, all that kind of stuff. Blasted. Ooh, here we go. Blasted Lands. If you want to do something mundane, like when it comes to volcanic regions, all the way up to hellscapes and things like that. And, mind you, it's that third... These are all third pillar gaming stuff, right? This is like, it's the It's the, hey, I want to have my characters fight hobgoblins. Okay, well, yeah, is that boring? Sure, but I want to have them fight hobgoblins on a frozen lake. I want to have them fight hobgoblins in a sandstorm, or it's ramping up the tension by having the environment have something happen. And sometimes we need rules, or even shit. Sometimes we just need, like, I don't know what to think of. Rope bridge. That's what I need. Boom, and then we go into that. So yeah, all that kind of stuff. Whether it's rock slides and flash floods and quicksand and salt flats and just all that kind of stuff. And a lot of it is small but interesting details. And honestly, this started off from one conversation. It was like a Facebook conversation I had or something about it was, when you're in an Arctic region, can you drink a frozen potion? Right? And do potions freeze in the first place? Do they lose their magic? Do you have to now stop and light a fire or use a fiery spell to melt the potion in the first place to drink it and make it like a slushy? And it, so it got in this conversation about magic and non-magic, alchemical thing, and then in the wilds, it's like, can you cast the somatic spell in 5th edition if your hands are frostbitten? Right? It's so all the books go down those little, like, tiny rabbit holes into just, when you swim and you're wearing chainmail shirt or plate mail, that, can you swim with that? Probably not. That's going to be up to you. So that's what they are about. But the cinematic environs are being converted over to plains and grasslands, savannas, the most boring ass adventuring location you can have in your RPG realm. I took this up as a personal challenge for myself. Like, how can we make this interesting? So I wrote plains and grasslands, and it's got everything in there from hurricanes and tornadoes to heat waves, broken earth, burial grounds, and burning fields. This is one of my favorites. Kind of fun. It's chromatic fields. These are basically flowers. Are the books available or just PDF? No, both PDF and print. So I've got the print size. They're also available in PDF as well. I didn't know that you did not know that. Fog. There's even a section on using herds in 5th edition. They both act as cover and are a danger to being inside of them, and making up your own herds. So you can even make up your own herd animals and their abilities and why they're around, and tribes people and all that kind of stuff. Only found the PDF links in the description. Seriously? I wonder if that's an issue with region and not let's go to drive through. Oh, so yeah, I know I'm hanging around and just doing my thing, but the books are being converted over to Call of Cthulhu, and it is not a direct translation. Like, we're not just slapping Call of Cthulhu on the front and just letting it go. Every rule's being changed. They are being brought into to the modern. Excuse me. They're brought into the modern setting. Excuse me. Wow, hiccups. So basically between the 1900s to the 1980s, and details about that. So the Arctic book, like, let me pick one of these. Let's pick a book. I'm looking at one of them. It says watermarked soft cover book premium, and watermarked NPDF. Let's look up Arctic. Let's look up the first one because it's probably the cheapest. Arctic lands. Yeah, I'm getting 3 options, dude. Okay. Okay. Yeah. There's the PDF soft cover, and then you get both. I don't set the prices, but I write. I don't do financial stuff. A lot of times what ends up happening when you go through drive-through is if you can't set the price too low because there's a cost in like printing things, and even PDFs aren't necessarily in that format, but the printing cost is. So you can't make a price lower than it costs them to take your book to print it and then sell it, because if they're going to print the book, they want to make a profit on it as well. So that profit tax onto that price. So that's why printing books is kind of expensive. But if you're a person who, whatever. You like, I like books. I like holding them in my hand. So yeah. Jerry says, looks like it's fine on my end. Yeah. Indeed, buy stuff and support. Yeah, you're fine, man. I don't know why. I just don't push it too often. My goal is to finish. What's going to end up happening is all of these books, of course, minus subtracting all of the duplicate stuff, will be combined together into one compendium. So when we fill out all the natural environments, because one of these books is definitely not a natural environment. Where's the aerial book? Is that, there we go. There's Aerial Reaches. It's basically a book about the environment of a culture that lives in the air, never touches the ground. So there's everything from like storms and winds and prismatic clouds and all that type. Capitalized and consumed. Oh man, you're right. But yes, all the books will end up being put into a compendium. We still have wetlands coming up, subterranean, cityscapes, battlefields, and there's one more. There's one more natural environment, and shit. Thanks, Rick. Oh hell yes, throws money at the screen. Yeah, we're not sure whether we're going to do a Kickstarter for the compendium. I would prefer not to, because we've never done a Kickstarter. We just make the books, put them on drive-through, and word of mouth, hope that they sell. Yeah, it's in basically these are giant size I need ideas, and sometimes confounding your players with the environment, even simple stuff, fog, rain, heat waves, getting lost, and all that kind of crazy ass thing. Yeah, we're definitely doing a hardcover book, because let's see, what else do we have here? We have a hardcover book. This is Gothnog is Alex's call sign, basically. Just like I'm DBJ, he's Captain Gothnog. So this book, let me see if I can bring it up here. Blasphemous Abominations, with 5th edition, the Lich. This is a hardcover book about nothing but creating and designing a Lich. And basically it was hey, let's see if this works and what can we do. So it's got like famous Liches from movies, and we talk about movies and comic books, and then the back half of this book is nothing but like random tables and charts and things like that to create your own Lich. It goes into the 5th edition creation of how to make a Lich, the histories of them, some alternate, a number of alternate abilities, that kind of thing. You've seen some of this artwork, but yeah, it's we love to use photorealistic artwork in our stuff. Alex does that, so I love that idea of using like photorealistic. You may have, let's see if I can get this close enough. You may have seen some of these images, but he likes just like superimposing the giant skull in there and all that kind of business. Yeah. He's a Cthulhu type fanatic. He loves horror and everything. Trying to see if I can find some other artwork in here. There's a guy. He's a Lich. We have some famous game stats for some famous Liches and things. Yeah, it's crazy. There is a Bardic Lich in this book. There he is, Red Jack. Yeah, Red Jack is a Bardic Lich with a that's not a puppet, that's a small child. Yeah, you might not want to. Yeah. So his mother and child, he travels around in one of these things. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But anyway, and of course, a lot you guys may have seen this image before, but we like to modify them, add some things to it. So the idea behind making the books and everything is basically love. I'm not going to tell you that because you probably already guessed that, right? But yeah. So anyway, one last thing before I go, because I really do have to get out of here. Let's pull this up here. Let's do the. All right. So along with the environment, so we have the books have details on the environment, how you can use them, make them basically set up the problem, set up the obstacles, set up the dangers, and then throw them at your players, and then that's it. And then later on here, we have the appendix. So in each appendix, we have a new background, so you can throw that in there. We tend to come up with things like new languages. We have new equipment specifically used in those particular regions. Hell, all that kind of, it's crazy, dude. The survival book, we made the survival book. Do not use this as a real survival guide, but the information in it was culled from real survival. So, and then it's divided by earth, air, fire, water, 3 days. It's essentially let's see if we can find this quote here for you guys. Let's see. Can I find it? There is a rule in survival called the rule of 3. It says that in general, humans can only live for 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and 3 months without hope. And so that's the first page in our survival book. And then it just goes through everything from lighting fires to making traps and rules involved, including which spells are good for restarting someone's heart and all that kind of business. We even have rules for using beasts of burden and taking care of them and all that kind of business. So yeah, rations, water filtration, rations by sample foods from different cultures. So dwarven, goblin, elven, and then mixed race beings will have more than one ration type, so you can that kind of thing. So we don't go like gnome and halfling, but you could say that maybe a gnome is a combination between elven and dwarf, maybe a halfling's a combination between I don't know, dwarven and human, that kind of thing. So yeah. But anyway, guys, I gotta go get out of here. I'm busy patting myself on the back. Everyone have a great one. You don't need to hear me ramble about this BS too much. Maybe I should probably do separate videos. I used to do writer's room videos on the writing process and what we're up to and how myself and Alex and Rob write. And I have a number of playlists. One of those playlists is called the Writer's Room. Rickard says you should definitely do a stream about that. Yeah, you know what? I will. If you guys are familiar with the AbTab group, the Absolute Tabletop guys, Tabletop Terrors, Matt Click, Fistful of Dice, How to Be a Better Game Master, definitely check them out too. Tim Carney is a chaotic writer. I'm more of an outline writer, so I could definitely show you guys how I go through the writing process. Basically, I start with bullet points and start filling it out and fill it out anytime, all the time. I use Google Docs, but yeah, writing. Yeah, in the Writer's Room playlist, most of it is myself and me in chat with other people. For example, like we did the Nerdarchy guys. You guys know who the Nerdarchy guys, Dave and Nate and the rest of them. We wrote up an adventure for them called the Waystone Horror, and we did an adventure for them off of one of their videos. And so they went to different creators. So we did an adventure. We wrote an adventure for them based off of a video about feeding trolls a bunch of different potions and stuff. That idea that was really cool. So we did a open discussion with Nerdarchy 2, just basically talking about what we do, and they were interested in things. Nerdarchy I sent Nerdarchy a bunch of our books, and they gave them away. So yeah, good to be in that group as well. Nate from WASD 20, I was on a panel with him. Check out Erasmus Expeditions. I was on a panel with him talking about using the environment. Once a year, there's a Con+1. So I did a stream for Con+1 using the environment as well. So yeah, that's my baby. So guys, everyone have a great one. I got to head off to work, man. I'm getting a little bit late here, but love to chat with you guys. I know the ending of this isn't like, it's like you're way off base when it comes to Nick Fury. So maybe I could cut this off the end of the video or something. I'll figure out something. Anyway, guys, thanks for bringing that out of me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, DJ, have a great one as well. I will talk to all of you. Whatever. I got some light reading. Yeah. Guys, have a great one. I love you guys. Bye.